LPG butane, a large tanker, a ship that will transport butane. But I will not pay you in cash, I will pay you in meat. So these guys can either shut down or take meat, and the Spanish love their meat. So they say, great, we sign a contract. So he tells the Argentinians, deliver my meat to the Spanish, and the Spanish start making this LPG tanker. So now he has an LPG tanker being built. And what does he do with this? He goes to America. There was a company in America, a refinery that produces butane. He goes to them. He says, I want to purchase butane from you. And instead of paying you cash, what I will do is my LPG tanker is being built right now in a Spanish shipyard. I'll give this tanker to you. So these guys say, okay, at least we are getting business, and what we do need LPG tankers. They sign a contract with him. This LPG, which is his, goes to Argentina. So in this process, he did 3 deals. Did he have any money in his pocket? No, he had no money in his pocket, but what did he use? He used his mind. He used the teachings of the goddess of wealth and the goddess of knowledge. He combined these two, and he became one of the most successful businessmen of his time. And he became an oil giant. This was his passion. Now, this story is very powerful, and based on this story, there are a couple of very powerful principles which we can learn, and these are principles which I use in my personal life, and I'm sure all of you, whether you're founders, whether you're working in a company, anywhere, you can benefit from it. And I believe an entrepreneur is not somebody who finds a company only. Even if you're a part of a company, you are an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody who is enterprising. So if you're a journalist and you do something enterprising, you are an entrepreneur. If you do something new and better, you are an entrepreneur. So I think all of you are entrepreneurs in your own way. And the first teaching of the goddess of wealth and the goddess of knowledge is never fear. And to illustrate this, I'll share a story. Lord Krishna and his brother Balrama, in those days there were no such good hotels like Taj and all these. There weren't any of these. They had to travel, so they were going through the forest. And in night time, Krishna tells Balrama that, Balrama, I will sleep, you keep a watch, and then you sleep, I will keep a watch for animals and all sorts of creatures. So Krishna is sleeping and Balrama is up. As he is up, he sees this huge monster, a huge monster, like that high. And he starts panicking, he starts fear. His legs start shaking, palpitations, hands get sweaty. And as he fears, the monster keeps becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And he faints. In fear, you can't take action, he faints. And Krishna's eyes open, and he looks at Balrama. He assumes Balrama is sleeping. And he looks at this monster. This monster is growling and howling. And Krishna has a beautiful smile on his face. And he looks at the monster, and he says, who are you? He asks him a question, who are you? As soon as he asks him, who are you, the monster reduces half in size. But the monster is still growling, looking at him. Krishna asked him another question, what do you want? With no fear in his heart. Again, the monster reduces in size. Krishna asks him another question, where have you come from? And eventually, the more questions Krishna asks and the more boldly he faces the monster, eventually the monster becomes a small pocket-sized monster, like Pokemon. And he puts it in his pocket, a small monster, and Balrama gets up in some time. And he's all in panic. He says, Krishna, did you see that huge monster? He was about to attack us. So Krishna says, what are you talking about? Are you talking about this cute little Pokemon? And he pets him, and that's what happened. And what does this story teach us? It teaches us a lot. In life, we all face challenges. We all have things we fear. But once we face those boldly and look at them in the face and ask relevant questions to them, we will overcome our fears. And when we overcome our fears, it becomes very easy to learn. The goddess of knowledge and the goddess of wealth love people who are bold and have overcome their fears. So that's the first principle. The second principle, observe. I love observing. It's beautiful to observe. Again, I'll share a story. So I come from a very middle class family. When we were kids, we couldn't afford the auto, but I would love reading comics. I still love reading comics, and I would buy a lot of Archies and Batman, and my mom would get upset. She would say, Yogesh, you're spending a lot of money on comics. Stop spending so much money on comics. I said, okay. So I started buying second-hand comics at the Raddiwala. And I was studying in a school in Tehran in Iran. And in my school, it was the only English school in the country. It was an international school. And so lots of rich kids would come, you know, kids of ambassadors, kids of rich businessmen. And one of these kids was from a country called Brunei. In those days, Brunei was a very rich country. And we would get our comics to school sometimes, even though the teachers wouldn't like it. And I noticed, I observed something on his Archie. I observed a sticker, a price tag, which said 10 dirhams. 10 dirhams in those days. We were in the 5th or 6th grade. And my mind started calculating. I calculated 10 dirhams was 10 times the price I was buying comics at the second-hand dealer in Bombay. And I went to my friend. I told him, my dear rich friend from Brunei, I won't tell his name, that's how we'll refer to him. I'll give you lots of comics, but not at 10 dirhams, at a cheaper price, at 9 dirhams. He liked it, he loved it, he's getting comics at a cheaper price, and he started buying comics from me. And I was making 9 times the return, because I was buying these in Bombay at 1 dirham. I've converted the currency to make it simple, I was buying it in rupees, and he was buying it, I was selling it at 9 dirhams, and since then, my mom loved it every time I bought comics. She loved it. She says, Yogesh, go and read more comics, buy more comics. So again, what does this show us? Observe. In business, in life, at work, the more we observe, the more benefits we get. And it applies to all of us. So the second principle, the first, never fear. The second, observe. After you start observing. The third, very important principle, very powerful, listen. There's a reason you know, the God, the divine, has great ways, very intelligent. There's a reason God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Simple. So the more we listen, the more we learn. Again, imagine all of you, and imagine you're in the market, and there are 2 shops. One shop, both of these shops deal in carpets and rugs, various forms of carpets and rugs. The first shop, you go in, and the shopkeeper, very a nice guy, and you know, he starts speaking, hello, how are you doing, how was your day? And immediately before you can speak, brings up a cotton rug in front of you and starts telling you the advantages of the cotton rug. How, you know, it's new technology, it's washable, you can dry it in the sun, lots of uses, you're getting a great deal, you're getting 50% off on it. He keeps telling you, first instance. The second shop you go to, he greets you, he smiles, he's polite, and he says, dear sir, dear ma'am, feel free to browse through my collection. Who do you think would end up selling more? The second, exactly, that's right, Kiruba. Because all of you are rich people. You are in the market to buy a beautiful Persian rug for $10,000. Maybe, I hope so, probably. And if somebody puts a cotton rug in your face, you might or might not buy it. So, always listen. Listen to your customer, listen to the people around you. The more you listen, the more you learn. I love listening because if I listen, people tell me whatever it is that they want. And if I can help them with it, I'll be happy to do it. If I can't, I'll be happy to direct them to somebody who can help them out. Now, how many points did I share? Three, okay, yeah, three. The fourth principle, invest in knowledge. Invest in knowledge is beautiful. Again, I'll share a story to make it simple, to make it funny, to make it entertaining. Once there was a father, and he had two sons. Both these guys were 18-year-olds. And he said, time for me to give whatever I have to my sons. So he called both of them, and he called both his sons. So he looked at them and he said, I want to give away everything I have. Here I have around 5 acres of land. He was a farmer. And here I also have knowledge. So he tells his sons, what do you want? Do you want my 5 acres of land, or do you want my knowledge? He's a farmer. So the elder son very quickly says, very simple choice. I want those 5 acres of land. So the father says, okay, let me ask the second son what he wants. So, because if he also wants the land, then I have to divide it equally. So the second son thinks, he says, no, my father is a great guy, he's intelligent. Let me ask him for his knowledge, all the knowledge he has in his life. So he says, the father says, great, no difficulty, no problem at all. First son, take the land. Then he tells the first son, please go out of the room. I want to share all my knowledge with the second son. So the first son goes away, happy with the land, 5 acres of land. And as soon as the second son comes in, the father gives him a nice packet of mango seeds. He tells him, son, these are the best mango seeds ever. And my knowledge is that, is very simple. Plant these mango seeds only when you feel confident, when you know everything there is to know about mangoes. That's all I'll tell you. So the second son says, okay, my father is a great guy. He works for 3 years. He works in different places. He goes to various other farmers, to universities. He learns everything there is to know about mangoes. Irrigation practices, how to get the sweetest mango, how to enhance yield, how to make sure pests don't eat away the mangoes. After 3 years, he saves some money. He buys a small plot of land. He plants 10 mango seeds. And he waits for 5 years. He has to water these mangoes regularly, take care of them. Mangoes take time to grow. So it's 8 years. 3 years he spent learning, 5 years. And after 8 years, what happened? He got a beautiful mango tree. He plucked it, cut the mango, put it in his mouth. Sweet tasting mangoes, really sweet, juicy. The guys, don't think about Katrina Kaif and the mango ad, please. So really nice, sweet tasting mangoes, And he had 10 beautiful mango trees, and he started a mango business. What did the first son do throughout this? He got the land. What do you think he would have done with the land? Okay, so this guy was, what he did with the land? He took the acres of land. He went to a local developer. He found out who's the best developer, did a joint venture with the developer. That developer developed that land into a luxury colony, sold it. This guy made a lot of money. And the first son, the more money he made, he kept investing it in land. He kept going 5 kilometers further and further and further. And eventually, after 8 years, the first son had a fleet of luxury cars. He was very rich. So, what did the first son do differently? The first son invested in knowledge. That's what I believe, because the first son didn't want to be a farmer. So while his dad was a farmer, he did not want to be a farmer. He invested in knowledge and not information. So what he did was, he took the land, tied up with developers, and built a business model. There's a difference between knowledge and information. Information is something that we can get from anywhere on Google, and knowledge is something which helps us and on which we can take action. Now, the next principle which I want to share with you is have clear goals. Clarity of goals is very important. So if you are in a company, have clear goals for your company and for yourself. Let's say, for example, I am there and I say, I wish I was a speaker, or I desire to become an author, or I wish I would do some business. Would that be more powerful, or would it be more powerful if I said, I am a great speaker, or I am a great author, or I am a great businessman. What would be more powerful according to you? Yes, exactly. Thanks, Indranil. Exactly. When we make definite statements and when we believe in those statements and when we put them down in writing, I always carry a black book in which I put these things down in writing, because when we write it down, it's not a wish, it's not a desire, it's not a dream, it's a fact. And when you have this, automatically a plan comes in place, automatically people come to help you out. Whatever your goal is, whatever your vision is, have clarity. It takes time, it takes time to think it up, to clear our head. Please write it down, and once you write it down, both the goddess of knowledge and the goddess of wealth will help you, they will support you. Now that you have clear goals, you've gotten rid of fear, you've started observing, you've started listening, you have invested in knowledge. Another thing is value time. Time is extremely precious. Time is the only thing you can't save in a fixed deposit, in a mutual fund, anywhere. Once time is gone, it's gone. How many minutes do I have? Okay, so 3 minutes, see, time. So time is extremely valuable. Now with time, there's something I love doing. It's called time expansion. What is time expansion? If tomorrow you want to do 5 things and you give yourself 5 hours, you'll do it in 5 hours. But if you give yourself only 1 hour, that 1 hour will automatically expand. How will it expand? Because now you have to do all those things in that time. You will strategize better, you will work better, you will work more efficiently. So always, that's what I do. Before sleeping, I make a list for what I have to do the next day. That's a great way to expand time and make the most of time. How many did we do? 6, exactly. And the last one, which I love, is be happy. Because when you are happy, when you are positive, you automatically attract a lot of things. Today, all of us, honestly speaking, would you be like to spend time with somebody who's happy or somebody who's constantly grumbling and constantly telling you negative things? We all love being with people who are happy. And a state of happiness, a state of bliss is truly our natural state. And the happier we are, the better we learn. When we are happy, it's easier to learn. When we are happy, it's easier to think. When we are happy, it's better to perform. It's easier to perform. So if you are in sales, you can perform better. If you are in IT, you can perform better. No matter what you are in, if you are happy, you can perform better. The greatest thinkers in the world, Isaac Newton, was in a state of happiness under a beautiful apple tree, enjoying the fresh aroma of the leaves when he thought of the theory of gravity. So be happy and make the most of this beautiful life we have. Thank you very much. And questions, anybody, feel free. I would be happy to help.
You must check out Yogesh's books that are there outside. You authored 6 books, is that right, Yogesh? So it's fantastic. So really, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Yogesh Chabria.